sa DZRH, sa Elizalde.
Forget the past, it's time to mend.
A corporate thing.
So, ang sinasabi ko na lang,
Isang mapayapang hapon Pilipinas, narito ang inyong balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja, na bumabati sa lahat ng nakikinig sa DZRH at sa lahat ng nanonood ng RH-TV, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga kasamahang alagad ng sining at kultura sa buong bansa. Una sa lahat, gusto naming magpasalamat sa lahat ng nanood at nakibahagi sa 20th anniversary concert ng Ballet Manila noong nakaraang linggo. Dahil sa inyo, naging napakamatagumpay ang aming BM 2.0. At talagang hindi namin malilimutan ang importanteng milestone na ito para sa Ballet Manila. Asahan ninyo na gagawin namin ang lahat to give you bigger and better performances sa aming 20th season na magsisimula sa darating na Agosto. Samantala, pwede ninyong sundan ang aming mga events at performance schedule sa aming Facebook, Twitter at Instagram accounts ng Ballet Manila at sa aming website na www.balletmanila.com.ph. Samantala, today is March 8 at ipinagdiriwang natin ang International Women's Day. Gusto nating batiin ang lahat ng mga kababaihang nakikinig at nanonood sa ating programa. Pati na rin ang mga babaeng nasa staff ng Art2art at syempre ang mga panauhin natin na kapwa rin nating babae. Happy Women's Day sa ating lahat. At bilang bahagi ng ating pagdiriwang sa araw na ito, 2 female authors ang kasama natin sa hapong ito upang pag-usapan ang bagong sumisikat na tema sa panunulat, ang New Adult Romance Novels. Samahan ninyo kami sa kalahating oras ng masayang kwentuhan kasama ang mga manunulat na sina Mina V. Esguerra at Bambina Olivares.
Bukod sa pagiging matagumpay na romance novelist, si Mina V. Esguerra ay siya ring president ng communications firm na Bronze Age Media, isang development communication consultant, indie publisher, professional editor, wife, at mother. She created the workshop series Author at Once for writers and publishers and a second one, #Romance Class, for aspiring romance writers. Kabilang sa kanya mga katha ang young adult fantasy trilogy na Interim Goddess of Love, kung saan ginamit niya bilang character ang mga Diyos at Diyosa mula sa Philippine mythology. Samantala, nag-uwi ng premyo ang kanyang mga contemporary romance novelas mula sa Filipino Reader's Choice Awards for Chick Lit in 2012 para sa Fairy Tale Fail at noong 2013 para sa That Kind of Guy. Samantala, si B. Weiser ay isang journalist, media strategist at PR specialist. Tumira siya sa iba't ibang bansa at nagkaroon ng pagkakataong makapagtrabaho sa larangan ng advertising at public relations. Bilang manunulat, naglathala na siya ng mga artikulo sa ilang international publications, kadalasan para sa fashion, travel at lifestyle sections. Isang mainit na pagbati ang hatid ng Art2art sa mga female novelists na sina Mina Esguerra at B. Weiser.
Kasama po natin ang mga sikat na new adult romance novelists na sina Mina V. Esguerra at Bambina Olivares. Ladies, welcome to Art2art.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for inviting us over.
Okay, new adult novels. Bakit? Meron bang lumang adult novels? So ngayon, merong new adult novels. Ano ang pagkakaiba?
Can I start with that?
Okay,
so new adult, in this case, at least para sa mga novels na sinusulat ko, they pertain to the age group of the characters and also possibly the readers. So you have young adult, which is mostly stories about teenagers, maybe 15 to 17 years old, usually something like Twilight, The Hunger Games would have a character na 16, 17. Publishers in the US started labeling books with a new category called new adult, and the characters are usually 18 to 25. So it's the same themes of independence, self-discovery, learning how to make your own decisions, learning how to make mistakes and recover from them, but you have to be a little older and a little more responsible about these decisions. So yun yung new adult natin.
So, is new adult iba sa young adult?
Yes, yes.
I see. Ang young adult is 13?
Usually 14, 15.
14, 15.
Yes,
Oo.
up to 16, 17, college age. Yes.
I see. Okay. And, teka, young adult, new adult, may teen, may tween.
That would
That's
go
young
younger.
adult.
That
Younger
would still
pa.
go younger, yes. Tweens would be 12, I think,
Okay.
11, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we're going, with these stories of romance, we're going a little older. So the issues are a bit more mature, but still new.
More coming of age. No?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like coming of age, but for especially it's resonating at least with Filipino readers. Kasi sa atin, the experience of love or that kind of love where we have to really deal with real world consequences, it happens a little later than other countries. Maybe we experience it at 21, at 22. So that's why this
Most
is
of us still live with our parents.
yes.
Oo nga. That's
Yes,
true. Oo.
yes. The experience of falling in love and finding out that you might have to be with this person your entire life. That happens to us later in life. So that's why this category is
I
really
see.
taking off for us.
Oh, okay. Okay, so wait, magbalik tanaw muna tayo. So how did you first get into writing?
Well, for myself, I've always written for one reason or another, I guess, in school. Tapos, later on, a little bit of journalism and everything. Basta my life has always involved writing somehow. And then, writing fiction is a little bit, yung creative na lang yan, di ba? Creative side of it. So it's something that I've always done. And I guess, parang saving grace na rin because I've lived in so many different countries. In some places, you have no work permit, but if you can write,
You can write
you can
anywhere.
write and you can
o,
apply
diba?
to any, you can do advertising, you can do this, that. So, buti na lang, in other words, Yeah.
Similar, yeah, for
yeah.
me. I've always written, I always liked writing romance. And then when I was a teen, I was writing teen romance. When I was in my 20s, I was writing a little older. So I just felt more and more qualified as I grew older to write about certain kinds of relationships.
Okay. And how did you get started into self-publishing your novels?
I personally haven't done it yet, but I
Okay.
think Mina
Yes,
is.
Mina.
I started in 2010. So I discovered that Amazon opened up their ebook publishing platform to anybody in the world. So it was pretty much, they had a website. If you had an account, you could upload a Word document and the cover, and it would be sold as a book within hours
Oh, wow.
of hitting publish. So na-discover ko yon, na-realize ko madali lang pala. And tried it out with one book and started selling books. Of course, at the time, I had tried it out with one book featuring a Filipino character. It was in English, but it was in English. It featured a Filipino character living in the Philippines. Hindi ko sigurado kung mag-hit yon kasi mostly pag Amazon, international readers yon. And then meron namang pumansin, meron namang nagbasa. Meron, hindi lang yung pamilya ko, tsaka yung mga kaibigan ko. Thankfully. So naisip ko, this is an experiment that could work, especially for us who live so far away from the big publishers and could still write and be noticed. So yun, dun siya nag-start.
I see. So since 2010?
Yes.
And how long does it take you to finish a novel?
Kasi I think para siyang workout na the more often exercising, the more often you do it, the better you become at it. So, in the 5 years na nagsa-self-publish ako, siguro 1 month is the fastest that I've finished a novel. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Just sitting down for 2 hours every day and planning ahead, using writing with an outline, making sure I know the ending before I start. And
Ganun ba yun? Dapat may ending mo na
Para
before
sa akin,
beginning?
You're so
Okay.
methodical pala.
para sa akin, so siguro yung isang new adult novel that I wrote and Anvil published and is out in bookstores now, 28 days ko siyang sinulat. Yes.
Okay. So, pareho kayong nagsusulat sa English.
Yes.
Right? Pero Filipino ang characters or nagsusulat din pa kayo as basically in English about foreign characters?
My particular book is a Filipina, is a main character, but like a global Filipina. It's not set in Manila, it's set abroad in various places, because it also had to serve the premise of the book. Na, you know, it was kind of like celebration of freedom, parang ganyan, and parang, you know, all her adventures or something, and it realistically couldn't naman take place here. So it was better to set it abroad. But with a lot of the values as well, you know, a lot of it is about the upbringing that we have, you know, growing up here, and, you know, the conservatism and all that. So, you know, it reflects a lot of Filipino values also.
Okay. Mina, what about you?
I have about 12 books, romance novels with Filipino characters set in the Philippines, but I write in English. And then after a while, I started to experiment. So my latest books are set in other countries and featuring other nationalities na rin.
Okay.
So just to see how as a Filipino author I can explore different kinds of stories similar to what she's going through, na minsan may mga situations na kaya naman nating ikwento pero parang hindi realistic na dito ang setting. Pero as storytellers, we can tell them.
Okay. Pero, so what are the current trends of yung genre ninyo na in terms of themes and subjects? You know, what do the readers look for? What do the readers want?
I think, in my opinion, like a lot of it, there's a little more frankness. Mas, I wouldn't say graphic in my case, but parang the sexual part of a person.
that's-
Yeah, I know, sorry. You know, it's
Here we
part
go,
of,
here we go.
It's part of the growth. You know, it's not, hindi naman you're putting it for the sake of putting it. It's not naman the titillation factor, or like, I guess, some other books or whatever. Pero it's parang part of the development of the person and all that. It somehow is central to the story, at least in the case of my book. So, and those are things that I guess in the past they haven't been able, or they were reluctant, maybe publishers here were reluctant to tackle those themes or whatever. So, you know, it's actually a big step for us and for Anvil also, and for the local publishing industry. And it, I think, maybe also says there's a little bit more maturity and openness in the Filipino reader na, you know, that they would read these books or be drawn to them, you know. I mean, maybe a lot is the scandalous factor or something like that. Or they might be looking for a scandalous factor, but, you know, hopefully naman, like I like to say, parang come for the sex, but stay for the conversation. You know what I mean? It's like,
Okay.
Well, for new adult, for that particular age group, na discover ko kasi na even though readers of my books who tend to be that age, yung 18 to 25 or a little younger, they're supposed to not know about these things.
No, really?
Suppose.
18 to 25?
I know,
I sincerely doubt that.
They claim not to know. They claim not
I
to
have
know.
a 16-year-old daughter. Let's just put it that way.
But the thing is, but that was interesting because I would go to schools, I would give talks as a romance writer, just talking about my books. And makikita naman natin na, alam naman natin kung ano yung sikat na libro ngayon. Alam natin na, alam natin kung ano yung mga binabasa ng mga teenagers. But there was a thing about the social acceptability of talking about it, that it's something that they also think about in their real lives. And However, when I was going into schools and talking to students, mas napag-uusapan na siya. So naisip ko, I think it's time. I think maybe the age group is ready to acknowledge for the first time that this is something they read and this is something they want to learn more about.
Okay. Okay. So marami pa po tayong pag-uusapan tungkol sa mga new adult romance novels kasama sina Mina V. Esguerra at Bambina Olivares. Dito pa rin sa Art2art, magbabalik po kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art2art. Schedule ng mga inaabangang konsyerto. Update sa mga magagandang panoorin sa mga tanghalan at teatro. Narito na ang Art2art Calendar.
Narito ang ating arts calendar. Sa musika, inihahandog ng Ortigas Foundation Incorporated ang Music of Peace, the Manila Symphony Orchestra sa March 13, alas 8 ng gabi sa Meralco Theater, Ortigas Avenue, corner Meralco Avenue sa Ortigas Center, Pasig. Ito ay recreation and concert ng Manila Symphony Orchestra noong 1945 na ginanap sa ruins ng Santa Cruz Church noong Liberation ng Manila sa pamumuno ng kanilang unang conductor na si Herbert Zipper. Tinugtog ng grupo ang Symphony No. 3 ni Beethoven at ang Symphony No. 9 ni Dvorak. Samantala, babasahin naman ni Katrina Legarda ang introductory speech na nilahad noong 1945 ng kanyang lola, si Trinidad Legarda, na siyang namuno ng Manila Symphony Orchestra Society. Para sa ticket at karagdagang detalye, tumawag sa 631-1231, Local 187. Inihahandog ng Cultural Center of the Philippines at Tribong Filipino Foundation na pinamumunuan ni Danny Dolor ang harana sa Dapit Hapon sa March 11, alas 4:30 ng hapon sa bulwagang Nicanor Abelardo ng CCP. Magtatanghal ang mga sopranong sina Gloria Coronel at Liza Cabahog, tenor na si Limuel de la Cruz at ang mag-asawang violinist na si Gil Lopez Cabayaw at pianistang Corazon Cabayaw, kasama ang kanilang dalawang violinist na anak, sina Cecilien at Farida Cabayaw. Ang harana sa Dapit Hapon ay serye ng libreng pagtatanghal na nagtatampok sa musikang kundiman, harana, balitaw, danza at awit ng pag-ibig mula sa mga batikang Filipino composers. Para sa karagdagang detalye, tumawag sa 832-1125, Local 1604. Samantala, magbabalik ang Japanese conductor na si Yoshikazu Fukumura bilang guest conductor ng Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra sa kanilang 7th season concert sa March 20, alas 8 ng gabi sa tanghalang Nicanor Abelardo ng CCP. Kabilang sa tutugtugin ng orchestra ang mga piyesa ni Rossini, Haydn, Ravel at Khachaturian. Para sa karagdagang detalye, tumawag sa 832-1125, Local 1804.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Kasama ang balerina ng bayan, si Lisa Macuja. Art2art.
Kasama pa rin natin ang Filipina romance novelists na sina Mina V. Esguerra at Bambina Olivares. O since napag-uusapan na natin ang mga, sabihin na natin, X-rated or R-rated na mga scenes, mga eksena sa mga nobela, sa mga new adult romance novels. Meron bang, where do you draw the line? At saka, meron bang mga ratings ang mga libro? Na, katulad ng, yung ratings ng MTRCB sa sine o sa mga TV programs. Meron din bang similar ratings sa mga libro? At saka, how do you prevent, say, a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old? Syempre, everything is available now on the internet, no? From clicking and downloading your steamy books.
Yeah. No, that's a bit of a challenge, I have to say. Pero I guess I have a 15-year-old and I've already told her, you're not gonna read this. Sorry.
Okay.
And I have an 18-year-old. And both my kids are bookworms. Palaging nagbabasa yan. And my 15-year-old, always has her iPad there, always reading. And my 18-year-old, I said, look, I can't stop you. You're 18, but I would rather you read this when you're older na. So I think a lot of the policing has to come from the parents themselves, because at a certain point, you can only fight the internet up to a certain point. But, if they're younger, you can put controls and all that stuff. Pero, I don't know. What else can you know? Yeah.
That's true.
As an author and someone who publishes my own books, at least I know that, for example, I publish a book on Amazon. Only people who have a credit card can buy it. So that's one. That's one way that they can that we can ensure that kids are not randomly picking this up. If I post a book, and I do that, I do giveaways of ebooks all the time to gain readers. I don't really give away free ebooks that have sensitive scenes or mature scenes, even language. I actually draw the line at that. If it's something that's free, then yes, kids might be able to get it. So I don't put anything free that could have those scenes. If for example, it's for sale somewhere, I usually put warnings in the description. Of course, who knows if that actually attracts someone to actually read it. But I do, and also in the content, when I write the book, I'm very much for responsible depiction of these scenes, responsible and healthy depictions of these relationships. So it's going to be something that is a loving relationship, a depiction of a loving relationship, and not something that's meant to be. Ideally, in the end, when they read the book, they feel kilig and they feel happy about a happily ever after, and it's more romance really than anything else.
Okay. Na-mention nyo kanina na the readership is usually 18 to 25. Pero ako, I feel that maraming nagbabasa ng mga adults. I mean, as in 30, 35, 40-year-olds that are into this mga new adult romance novels.
Well, I have to say, like for mine, hindi naman talaga new adult in the same sense as hers. But I think it's more adult fiction. It's really aimed towards an older reader because the main character is someone, you know, in her 40s or something, and it's really about parang living life on your own terms, which is something you can do. You can actually say you're ready to do, and you feel you can do when you're, you know, with a perspective of time and experience and all that. And you know, so strictly speaking, it's not really new adult, but maybe it's emerging into
But
adult.
romance does need, I mean, the
they need the
romance
categories.
catalog does need that kind of book to cater to all the age groups, so everyone can feel and see themselves in the book. So so we have that. We have for the 18 to 25. Kulang pa nga eh. Kulang pa.
I think it's really more a marketing strategy to categorize, so people will know where to, I mean, like you were saying na nga about the age restriction. So if it's not properly categorized, then you might na nga have a 10-year-old child wandering into that aisle and picking up that book, you know. So I suppose in a way that's kind of an informal control na rin, diba?
Well, speaking of market, usually ang mga nagbabasa ng mga romance novels, mga babae, no? It being International Women's Month. Why is it na talagang parang we call it chick lit, right? Chick literature. Bakit ang karamihan talaga na nagbabasa ng mga romance, mga babae? And women writers tend to write for women, really. The romance writers really tend to write for women.
Well, how would you... I think that women also, maybe they don't find themselves properly represented in a lot of literature. That's why they're drawn to these kinds of books where they feel that they can identify with the situation and the issues that the characters are going through. Whereas maybe some of the other literature that's targeted towards men are maybe a bit more too macho and, you know, I don't know, maybe too much war or something. I don't know, you know, or they're killing everyone left and right, who knows. But women, you know, want to find themselves in what they read, diba? I want to be able to identify. And I think also, like, a lot of people go to movies for escape. Books rin naman are also a kind of escape. So I think that explains the popularity of romance novels also.
I don't know how to speak for everyone because overwhelmingly female yung readership ng romance, but the way I've tackled it kasi is I know I'm writing fantasy. It's not superheroes or vampires or werewolves, but the idea of a perfect relationship or a perfect guy, fantasy siya. So alam ko yon when I write it, and that appeals to me as a reader. So it appeals to apparently a lot of women, and I don't know why. I don't know what that says about about relationships in general, that we're all looking for perfection in some way. But yeah, I just know though that it is what it is. So I try to satisfy the audience. That
So
way.
it's an escape, it's a fantasy. So lahat ba ng mga nobela ninyo ay happily ever after endings?
Not mine. Siguro ambiguous ending is mine.
Okay.
So I guess it's a little bit more reflective of real life. It's a woman at a different stage in her life. Parang Sex in the City, married, divorced, separated, everything. That kind of treatment. So my ending is a bit more ambiguous.
Okay, what about you, Mina?
Mine are all happy. Well, there's a term now sa romance called happy for now. So
Okay.
so yes, some romance novels end that way. You kind of know na baka they won't last 10 years down the line, but they are right for each other as they are now, and that should be enough. And then later, 10 years later, 15 years later, we have this kind we have these stories and discover what the new issues are and what we need to work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a lot of writers ngayon na ang tawag ay hybrid kasi nagpa-publish both on print and digital. So ano ba yung pros and cons ng print and digital?
For me, I still like to hold the book,
Yeah.
diba?
Oo.
Well, there's the weight of the book, and then
Yung amoy.
yeah. Me, I love that smell. It's not so portable minsan,
Yes,
diba? But then on your Kindle or whatever, your device, parang you can bring it anywhere, you can download. But parang the joy for me of turning the pages, it's lost in the Kindle. But I guess, whatever works for you, as long as people read, for me, that's the most important, in whatever format.
Yeah.
But that you keep that love of reading alive. Because for me, it's so important.
Pero iba ba ang market ng nagda-download ng digital books sa
So far,
bumibili ng mga libro?
So far, yes. Kung Filipino author ka and then you plan to publish digitally on sites like Amazon, just on the internet in general, US, yung biggest market niyan. US, English-speaking countries, really, US, UK, Canada, Australia, yan yung magiging readers mo, you'll find. And sila yung makaka-interact mo online, sila yung magre-review ng books mo. So that's one difference. And if you're trying to do both, yung be a hybrid author doing digital and print, of course I don't see it as an either or. I do both. Yeah. I work with partners, so I can be everywhere.
Okay.
So if people prefer print, here, this is for you. If people prefer digital, kasi they're not in the country, they don't know how to get the books, but at least it's online, then that's how they get it.
Okay. Well, when you write, who do you write for? Do you write for yourselves, for self-expression, or do you write for the readers?
I think you write to the readers in mind also, but there's something that you want to say, or there's a story you have to tell, more than anything else. It's a story you have to tell. And sometimes you think, okay, well, whoever, whoever's out there must be a reader out there, and you kind of get, wow, people like this. It's like a really weird feeling na parang, especially because it's like a baby that you nurture while you're writing, and then all the rewrites and all the 5 in the morning going to sleep and everything. And then there's sometimes when you abandon it kasi it doesn't work, and then you start na naman. So, parang I think at first you write for the reader, pero that whole reader is so abstract. Na parang you're writing to tell na nga story, and then later when people start reacting to it and all that, then you think, oh wow, parang you've touched someone or whatever. It's a very humbling feeling, weird, strange feeling.
I've written for specific people kasi that's how I write romance, and that's how I'm able to write books na hindi pare-pareho. So, siguro nung una, I was writing to please myself.
Yeah.
And then later, I was thinking of what kind of person would have this as a fantasy. So, yun na. So, I do have specific types of people in mind and types of readers in mind when I write books now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about feedback from your readership. How do you take it?
Well,
Kasi lalo na ngayon, it's like, it's so instant,
Yeah, it's
no?
so instant.
Yes.
Yung feedback, nasa comment na, nasa blog na, nasa ano na.
well, you've been published, so.
I take everything. Some people try not to read negative reviews or find out anything negative. My style is I'll take everything and then I'll quietly I'll quietly process. Either I'll be so happy about something or sad about something. But kasi I do intend to write more. So if one book in particular doesn't work for one reader, sige, notes tayo. Let's do something better next time, or let's change it a bit next time.
Yeah.
So but for me kasi I publish my own book, so importanteng data yon na nalalaman ko yung reaction ng audience sa book. So it's not an exercise anymore of makakabasa ka ng message and then iiyak ka na lang. Iiyak ka na lang sa tabi. Maybe in the beginning it was like that, but now I'm a bit more mature and methodical about how I take these reactions.
I see. Okay. And when you publish, do you use your real names?
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
I wasn't going to. But,
Why?
well, because of the subject matter also, and by my mom naman also, and everything. So, I
So
didn't
your
naman
daughter
want
will
my
like,
kids.
that's my mom.
Pero when so I have like a pen name, but since I'm doing naman all the publicity and everything, so like the secret's out anyway. And also because professionally, I work for the Standard and all that. So I wanted like a little bit of a separation, but I'm starting to learn in Manila after being away for so long. Wala naman talagang separation.
Oo nga, wala nga.
Diba? So, go na lang with the flow, I guess. Yeah.
Mina, do you use your real name?
I use a variation of my name when I was first published kasi I was not married and now I am. But I've kept publishing under my maiden name.
Did you marry your ideal man?
Of course. He thinks he's the hero in all of my books.
He of course reads your novels.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
And he thinks every hero is based on him. Confident siya masyado.
Okay, so sa mga nakikinig and nanonood ng ating programa ngayon, where can they find your novels, and both print and digital versions?
Making Love in Spanish is coming out this month by Anvil, published by Anvil. It'll be available in national bookstores and power books all over the country.
Wow.
And available for download also, through National Bookstore.
So it's called Making Love in Spanish.
Yes.
I should have my husband read that. Espanyol siya eh.
Part 2 naman French.
Okay, Mina, you?
I have 3 new books out, all from Anvil. They're called Welcome to Envy Park, The Harder We Fall, and Never Just Friends. So they're in print in national bookstores and power books. They're also online on Amazon and other retailers if that's your thing. Yes.
Never just friends. You're never really just friends, no? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for making the time, come over to our program and sharing your thoughts today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and more power, of course. May you have even more steamy ideas for the new adult romance novels. Yeah. Okay. And happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan niyo kami ulit dito sa Art2art, kung saan ang usapang sining at kultura ay para sa lahat. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, Lisa Macuja, nagpupugay sa artistang Pilipino.